Hi, my name's Ben Allen, and today I've got Anson Ross Thompson joining us. Anson Ross Thompson started his business, the Thompson Group, with his partner, Jenny Dills Durr, over 28 years ago in Indianapolis. He recently came to the Denver area with his business back in 2016. He really has taught us a lot about servant leadership. Anson loves his team. He loves his partner. He loves his family. And what I think many of us in Denver have seen is that that love extends to all the people that he does business with as well. So it's been a shining example to us of what business leaders should be all about. And today, I have the opportunity to talk with Anson about the coronavirus and all that we're going through as a society and as business leaders. And I found one of his posts. Anson writes daily. He shared with us some of his ideas about the benefits, not really the benefits, but just the hope, the light potentially at the end of the tunnel. And I want to talk to Anson about that a little bit today. So, Anson, thanks so much for joining us. My question to you is hope, opportunity. What do you see for all of us in light of the darkness that just seems to be hitting all of us right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Ben, very much for the opportunity. I should also point out before I begin answering that question that the sun's out, guns are out. Okay, that's how I'm going to roll today. Sorry about the. We're
Nice.
just we're not dressing up as we once did, so I apologize for that. But so I as a writer write a lot about the human connection. And I have always thought that that was one of the keys to living a healthy, happy life. And I've always been one to, when I meet people, I'm a hugger. In the world of Me Too now, that seems to be not as often as it used to be, but yet I'm a very connected human with many other humans. I live in a couple different areas. I have a home in Indianapolis and also Denver, Colorado. And I think that this forced isolation is going to cause us all to remember the value of that human connection. And it might be May, it might be June, but at some point, I really believe we're all going to be able to come back together. And we're going to have a totally different view of when you see not just a friend, but a stranger. One of the things I always talk to my students and some of my team about is, our job only in this world is as salespeople is to talk to strangers. And I think now more than ever, it is so helpful. A lot of times these days, we're on lockdown. And so many of the conversations we're having look exactly like this. But I think that there's going to be, as I've said many times, there's going to be many gifts that come out of this. And a remembrance of the human connection is going to be one of them.
Yeah. I'm curious that you've got staff, excuse me, team members in Indiana, here in Denver. How are you staying connected with them right now?
Great question. So we, a long time ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, made the decision that I started looking at our business, and I noticed that we had anchors, anchors being a phone at a desk, desktop. And so we made an investment into laptops and an iPhone 8s for everybody. So whenever the iPhone 8s came out, that's kind of when we made this decision. So I don't know how many years ago that was. But so when you come to work for a company, you get the laptop, you get the iPhone 8s, and we have multiple people that have been working from home anyway. And so when this hit, it was a week ago Friday, we sent our entire team home and said, work from home, we'll not miss a beat. And so my operations manager daily does check-ins with all my team. We started using Slack to kind of keep everybody connected. And then we do have a virtual weekly call, and everybody jumps on. It's beautiful to see 20, 21 people. We ask that everybody turn their video on so you can see their faces. And it's just good to connect. And I can say that the quality of our work and the accuracy and the speed for our firm has not taken a hit. Now it's a little bit slower than usual. Many of our clients are not working, but I think we are deemed one of those necessary or I'm not sure what the term is, but we're in that where we need to continue working, and so we're not putting our employees at risk. We're all working from home, and so far so good.
I'm a little curious if things are a little slower for the Thompson Group. What are your team members doing to fill in extra time that they might have on their hands right now?
Well, we are doing some training. I just came out of an hour-long training meeting with some of the new people. We actually hired two new people last month, and so there's a lot of training to be done. Um, we were talking earlier, and I shared that one of our newer team members just joined our firm. We've known this young lady for a long time, but uh, I do the sales training in our company, so we flew her out here last week early, and she's been hanging out, and we've just been doing sales training.
Nice.
The rest of the team, we've basically said, use this time to get cleaned up. Anything that you've been putting on the back burner. I do expect my people to take a little bit more time for themselves. We have kids at home. We have husbands and wives at home. I don't expect you to work from 8 to 5 by any means. I expect you to get up, get your email taken care of, be available. We're still running multiple new calls. We have another new, which is a new client, engagement today. So that has slowed a lot, but we're still in that process of bringing on new clients. Um, so our firm was really well positioned for this, and others in our industry were not. Many people are still having to go to an office, and I think at this time it's kind of dangerous.
You reminded me of something funny that I hadn't thought about is that up until now, it has been extremely unprofessional to be doing a conference call from home, whether it's video or just on your phone, and having a kid run up to you midway through a conference call. That was seriously unprofessional. You'll probably get talked to by your boss in the pre-corona days, and in post-corona that is totally fine. We all understand. It's like suddenly it's not only is it kind of okay, it's a, oh, I have more compassion for you because of what's going on. I just think that's interesting that you made me think about that. I'd like to hear that as business leaders, but it's not just business leaders; it's all of us. We want to help other people out, but from a personal standpoint, I know you strive to help others. Do you have any examples of how you've helped people, your family, or you personally, during this time where there's incredible need?
Yeah, I got a couple. So during last week's conference call with our employees, one of our employees made mention that he was running low on food, and Jenny picked up on it. And so after the call, we went to our ops manager and said, "Hey, check on so and so," and he did. And the young man said, "Hey, I'm really scared right now. It's just me and my roommate. We don't have money. As you know, I'm here at college on a scholarship, so I don't have any money to go out and buy anything." And Dakota called us and gave us a situation. And I luckily had bought a cow earlier in the year. And so I had Dakota, who lives right behind my parents, go over, get in their freezer, and load up a bunch of meat. I sent him to the grocery store. We bought about $100, if not more, groceries, and we hooked this kid up. And he was, I'll just say, he was very appreciative. And we'll continue monitoring him. He's right now, he just lost his grandmother yesterday of all times, but we're taking care of him. So we're our team. If any one of our team members was in that situation, we're going to provide for them. I've got a friend of mine who has a compromised immune system that lives about 20 minutes from us. When this started, I reached out. We've been in constant contact. His wife got the flu. She was in the basement. He was upstairs, self-quarantining. Couple 3 days ago, we were making a grocery run. I sent him a note. He said, if you could, it would mean a lot. So, emails the grocery list. We go in. We had to substitute a couple things, but pretty much filled their pantry up for, a week or more. And unfortunately, his wife, or fortunately, I should say, his wife is now recovered, but he now has a fever. And so, praying for him and just daily sending him a note saying, we're here. As I was telling you earlier, Ben, we're fortunate in that my partner and I, Jenny and I, are 50s, mid 50s, but we have three 23-year-old, or I'm sorry, two 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds, and one 19-year-old staying at our home with us right now. And so I'm not overly concerned about those young people going and running groceries for other people. But I think, it's time as business leaders, we got to get small. Ben, you're the kind of guy that wants to help everybody, and I am too. But in times like these, we have to pick our spots. We have to find those people, not just in need, but in great need, and do everything we can. And sometimes that might mean putting ourselves in peril. I mean, we don't know. I mean, I don't know when I go for a hike outside if this stuff's floating around. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But if I see other humans, I stay away. So we just don't know what's going on right now. So just doing everything we can to support people close to us, and if strangers reach out, do what we can.
I think I'd like to finish just with one last question that I like to ask you because of your optimism. What what do you think can come out of this experience that we're all going through that's so tough on the back end? How might it benefit us as a culture, not just nationwide, worldwide? Are there benefits that you see?
Well, a few. I think that I mentioned before the human connection will return in spades. I think people will just value so much the ability to congregate. Uh, I think that the whole idea of working remotely and virtually was lost on 90% of the population. We've been working like this, so I think that the world of business will change to more of this. So I do see a lot of people working more from home, and there's value in working from home. One of my I'm on a few peer groups, and one of my peer groups met yesterday, and he said we learned through this that our employees can work from home, so why are we having them drive a half hour to the office in the morning and back home? Why don't we have them work from home? And I think there's beauty in that. If there are kids around, mom can still be there, dad can still be there. There can be that interaction. And I don't care if you have lunch with your children, or I don't care if you take a walk in the afternoon with your kids, as long as the work is getting done. That's the transformation that we're going to have business owners start lining up to see. Okay, I don't have to be in an office with them. I don't have to watch them. I can let them be self accountable. And those that can't, then you terminate them. But fortunately, our team has shown that you can work from home and be just as effective as if we're sitting in an office looking at each other.
I like that. I like that a lot. It reminds me, Anson, of that bringing on the millennials into our teams. Millennials kind of demanded social media that they want their Facebook open, they want their Pinterest open, and that is scary to many business owners until you realize what you just said, which if you have goals and they complete those goals every single day, whether they have social media open, whether they're working from home, it doesn't matter because you're evaluating them differently than just you're in the office from 8 to 5, which is a lousy way to evaluate anyone. So I think it's a beautiful takeaway. Anson, thank you so much for sharing with us today. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. And again, thank you so much.
Well, Ben, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And for those of you that don't know Ben, you got to meet Ben Allen. He's probably one of the nicest, most heartfelt, heart leadership guys. He's part of many, many groups. We're both fellow Rotarians. I watch his work there. He's just the guy lived in Africa for what, 7 months? Is that right? So he's just a special guy. So if this is your first introduction to this man, reach out to him, talk virtually, call him up on the phone. He will brighten your day, I promise. Thank you very much for the time.
Awesome. Thanks, Anson.
See you, bud.